New trade tensions taking its toll on stocks on Monday. Tech stocks, biggest decliners, the Nasdaq down roughly 1%. So perfect day to have a tech head with us as a guest. Dan Ives of Wedbush Securities joins us. Welcome, Dan. So tech has had a great run this year. The Nasdaq's up 29%. As we head towards the end of the year, a few weeks left, what would you do with your tech part of your portfolio? Hold on, or would you take some profit on?
Yeah, I still think tech 5-10% higher into year end. Maybe some white knuckles in terms of what you're seeing for December, worries about a Groundhog Day from a year ago. But I think valuations continue to look attractive to me. And I think not just FANG names, but overall software and semis, I see a rally into year and into early next year. So in our opinion, we continue to pound the table on tech names. Although isolated, there are names where you continue to sell the winners. You're seeing Roku and some others.
I'll get to Roku in a second, but another 5 to 10%. What'll drive it?
Well, I think two things. One, I think U.S.-China, an official phase one deal, I think that's an overhang that ultimately gets removed and I think could drive stocks higher. And I think two, fundamentally, you sort of go into 2020, you still have a number of companies reporting earnings next few weeks. I think ultimately really it's software and semis. I think that's really the sort of next leg up. And I continue to think Apple is going to be key, as all indications are iPhone 11's tracking about 10 to 15% above expectations in terms of units. That's key not just for Apple, but for semi names.
So staying, especially software, semis, and Apple. Valuations. Roku's really taken a hit today after Morgan Stanley downgraded the stock. Of course, that stock is up 350% this year, but currently down today. Roughly around 13%. What do you think about Roku's prospects?
Look, I think Roku extremely well positioned as you go into 2020. I think, look, there's definitely some worries just with Disney and Apple and ultimately streaming and where they play. And look, to some extent, Netflix as well. But I think Roku's still a long-term winner. But you're going to see a lot of these sort of sell the winners into year-end. Stocks will be down, momentum. But ultimately, I think that can be an opportunity for investors that have, we'll call it a 12 to 18-month time horizon.
Opportunity to buy then, pick this up.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think you have to be opportunistic, and I think Roku continues to be a long-term winner.
Any other big tech ones that you take profit on, whether it's to take profit or whether because you just unload because it's not going to do well?
Yeah, I think you look at a name like Slack, and ultimately, I think in terms of this cloud push, we continue to view Microsoft as really a winner, not just near-term but long-term. I think anyone going up against Microsoft, like a Slack, concerns us. That's a name that we'd be, definitely more negative on into year. And I think ultimately, when you look at FANG names, we continue to like an Apple and Amazon and Google over Netflix, just because like we talked about some of the streaming worries, and especially where Iger and Disney are in terms of share.
You mentioned Amazon. That stock. Talk about Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday sales on course is top $9.4 billion. Amazon, of course, a big part of that. But that stock has only been up 18% in a year when the Nasdaq's up 29%. What do you think's pressuring it? And you mentioned that among the FANG names, that's the one you'd keep. But what do you think are the prospects for it?
Well, I think Bezos and Amazon were clearly ahead and won that first phase of cloud. And when you look at AWS, that's a key part of the valuation. I think what's happening now, and it's taking the street by surprise, is Microsoft's narrowed that gap. I mean, you look at that Jedi deal, biggest cloud deal ever in terms of the Pentagon, $10 billion, which Microsoft won. That was a black eye for Bezos and Amazon. I think ultimately when it comes to cloud, that's really what's maybe pressured that stock a bit in terms of that narrowing of share gains versus Microsoft. Still a winner. And you're going to have Amazon win a lot of the share in what's really going to be a called $500 to $600 billion market opportunity. But I think that's caught the street by surprise in terms of what's happening with Microsoft and Nadella.
All right. Last question. What's your single best stock that you like right now?
Yeah, I mean, look, single best on large cap continues to be Apple. I mean, to me, you want to play a 5G super cycle, that's the stock. And I continue to view that as a $325 to even $350 stock into next year. So in large cap, that's been our favorite name this year. And going to next year, even though some will worry about valuation, I still think it's a stock that has 30, 40% upside.
And you said earlier you see the 11 tracking well, iPhone.
Well, 11 tracking 10 to 15% above expectations. In China, which has really been the worry, I mean, I can tell you from our Asia trip, tracking ahead of expectations there. And then you have a super cycle with 5G. We get asked by many investors, what's your 5G play? You talk about semis and some of the 5G plays there. To me, Apple's the best 5G play.
All right, so there you have it. One word, it's Apple. Thanks a lot, Dan. All right, thanks to Dan Ives of Wedbush Securities. I'm Fred Katayama, and this is Reuters.